Hello there and welcome to my channel. I was doing some art recently, mostly floating heads, and I realized a lot of my characters look the same. Now, if I'm being honest, I don't hate that. It's okay if you have a particular style or a particular way of drawing faces, but I did want to add some variety to my characters. So I'm just gonna go over some tips on how I'm tackling the same face syndrome in my characters. Okay, here we go. The first thing I did was pick up an art book. I thought that maybe if I knew how to draw a head properly, I could learn to add some variety in its features. I wanted to get a better understanding of the construction of a head, and Andrew Loomis is popular for his head construction method. I linked below in the description a video that explains it very well. I practiced drawing the face by copying the drawings in the Andrew Loomis book. This was especially helpful to see how the different angles affected the way you construct the face. There was a whole page on caricatures, and you're supposed to add shapes together, and with these shapes, you create faces. So for example, you make a circle for the head, a longer oval for the nose, circles for the cheeks, etc. And you end up creating a caricature face. To be honest, it's not my style, but as I was doing some of these exercises, I realized that I could use the method, but make characters that were more my style. Now, after knowing how to construct a face, I decided to create a whole page full of original characters, and they all had to look different. Here's how I went about it. I would take a shape, for example, a circle, and create a character's full face and features based on circles. So for example, a circular head, circular cheeks, circular eyes, circular nose, etc. Not everything has to be a circle, but at least circle-like or round at the very least. For this character, I used a rectangle as inspiration. I wanted elongated and narrow shapes to dictate the design. Now, not everything has to be based on the shape you choose. It's okay to add a little bit of contrast too. Since the character had an elongated face, I went for shorter hair, for example. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a geometric shape. For this character, I went ahead and used spikes as a shape. The face has a prominent chin, spiky hair, and even elvish ears. And honestly, you can tell I was watching my 90s music video playlist because these two could be members of Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. And that's good. It's good to get inspiration from artists and pictures and things that you see and watch too. This other one was inspired by a leaf, and I just went for leaf-like shapes in her hair, her eyes, lips, and even her face. Would you think she's inspired by a leaf? Not really, but the general shape of a leaf is what helped to give her some diversity in the features. I drew a couple of more characters just to practice. Honestly, I had more fun than I thought I would, and even ended up making a little bear by constructing it with circles. So really, you can create anything by basing its construction on a shape. Now, I do love to create OCs, and for some reason I do tend to draw more female characters. I know I have to diversify more, but for now I'm sticking to what I already do. So I decided to create OCs based on face shapes of real people. The first one I did was oval face shape and gave the girl a longer nose, narrow eyes, smaller, more defined lips. I thought a longer bob with bangs would really complement the look. For the second face, I made a heart-shaped face. They tend to have a pointier chin, and sometimes they are shown having a widow's peak. I did end up giving her some bangs, and I know I need to practice drawing hairlines and foreheads, so I did a little bit of both in this case. I gave her a rounder nose, rounder eyes, and I made her lips a little bit more pointier and defined. For the third face, I went with a circle face shape. It's my face shape, and I gave her rounder eyes, fuller lips, curly hair, and I definitely decided not to be afraid of foreheads. I have a tendency to hide my characters' foreheads behind loose or long waves, or just bangs, and this is my chance to do the opposite. And so here they are. I made 3 different gorgeous characters, and none of them have the same face or features. I do know there are some problems with proportions, the placement of the eyes, etc., but I can always redraw them taking into account the Loomis face construction method. These are not meant to be perfect, they are meant to practice, to add variety to your character's facial features. Anyway, I hope that helps and see you soon. Later.